Hello there, this is Darth Ravage07 coming to you today with another quick review. Hot off the truck from Hasbro Pulse with their snail mail shipping. I got in my copy of Powerglide and I can't wait to break him out of the box and see how cool he is. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the stuff down below. Thanks again for watching. Let's turn this camera around and take a closer look at the Age of Prime's Powerglide. And there is Powerglide, and of course Jack right over here, and Ryder's running around the table while I'm doing this. Looks really good on the box. They don't have the wraparound there because they got the primes there in his lineage. There is Powerglide, 20 steps from robot to A10 and back again. And pause and scan here. Trying to help a brother from another mother get their Powerglides and get them onto the turntables and jumped out of the box and into their collections. Let's take a closer look. Do not run, Earthling. We are your friends. Here is Powerglide from that horrible rendition of Mars Attacks in that episode Hoist Goes to Hollywood. We have the extra on board right off bat. That is actually his accessories. You get the mask from that episode and his pew pew. Not looking too bad, but all the same, I worry about with this, the paint jumping off of this plastic here anyway. It could have just been one standard piece of plastic, so I do appreciate the little bit of paint that was used there. And that face sculpt is gorgeous for a mask. And then we can go back to his regular face, which cleverly reveals his actual face, and he looks really freaking awesome. First impressions in hand. The bot mode is pretty stellar, except for this shoulder likes to jump out just a little bit when I go to articulate, and you got all the way around there. You get a full Mr. T going in that articulation. You get all the way around at the head due to some transformation gimmickry. Not much up. It kind of rocks back just a little bit. I'm afraid of it breaking and snapping. You do get the waist that can go all the way around. Almost, well, nope, those little things get in the way, so you can't full Van Damme. You can spread eagle pretty good and have some thrusters there at the ready. You do get that high a kick, goes back that far, pretty good ways back. It's got that clickety knee thing going on, so you get 90 there if you hold your mouth just right. You get upper thigh swivel. There's that 2 clicks again, and you do get you get outwards, but no inwards, probably due to that transformation joint there. And all right, calm down there. You don't have to fly away there. And we can take a quick spin of him. And well, never mind. Let's just hold it in hand because he doesn't want to stand up. Ooh, he's got like his faux symbol there. Not a whole lot of gapping. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, well, there is some gaps there in the hands. Damn. And they don't freaking have wrist articulation. And there's that issue I have in mind where that pops off. This side does pretty good so far. I don't know why the other side doesn't stay locked in there. But to each his own. I think they did a pretty good job with this robot mode, all things considered. And it has some paint there on that, there on that, and boom. And I'm kind of just astonished that we don't have any more gapping except for the back of the arms there. I'm hoping that DNA Designs will make a kit. That's so stupid, but I really think that these figures should have wrist articulation at the price they're going for. And anything else is just shortcuts and nonsense. Let's get a few comparisons going on here on the turntable. First off, with the Combiner Wars counterpart, I don't have any of the Michael Bay ones readily available. I do think he's in storage somewhere. The other Powerglide that came out in Michael Bay's universe. And the New Age rendition, my representations in my collection. This will go in my main Autobots, of course. This will stay with Combiner Wars and or be with Superion and be a doppelganger of this guy. And I gotta get the symbols, the toy hacks on his chest. And oh, speaking of chest, the New Age has a heart inside of the chest, but then this other new actually has some show accuracy. And if I can get it open, that's why I don't usually do this stuff on camera. There we go. You actually see an outline of the heart, and it is nicely painted there as well. So there's something about this is not locking into place. And of course, dogs are going to bark. And they did even manage to use some paint on the inside of that detailing as well. So that is really, really, really neat there. Love that Autobot symbol. And pretty much all we got to do now is to get him over into his jet mode and see how cool that is, guys. Robot mode is top notch, especially standing in the likes of the Combiner Wars and the New Age. Here is Powerglide in his vehicle mode, the A10. And I'm not certain if they actually referenced actual A10 looks and that kind of thing. It's all right for what it is. The weapon storage is absolutely horrendous, and the only other way that you could store this at all is by going up underneath the wing, and then you've got that action. You could probably take this off and put it up here and store it there, and then you kind of got like a GUR alien attack tank flying mode there. And yeah, I was looking so forward to this, and because this is like one of my favorite fighter jets of all time. But I think we've seen examples of this done better all the same, and there's really nothing that you can do to like clean it up and make it look any better. But I mean, there's that. We're just going to take that off because that's just aggravating. It needs a second pew, and I want to say, didn't the back of the box? Nope, it didn't have it. They had it on display with the 2 pistols so that they would store up underneath there and have a little bit of extra firepower. He does got that Vulcan cannon there at the top of the head that locks in this little bit down here to keep his head from showing up in the belly of the beast right there. That's could be so much better with the arms. It could have just folded up in on itself, or I just feel like it could have done something so much better. And the wings are angled down, and actually an A10's wings are kind of up like that. And I don't even mind the fat bits there inside of the dorsal fins. The thing that kind of gets my gusto is that these need to be sitting further back, and you can do that and make it look even more awkward, I guess. I think it looks a little bit better than it being all the way forward, because these actually should be up here around the back end there, as I'm fixing to demonstrate with these other 2 comparisons. Here he is with the Combiner Wars, and you got the hand sticking out and the hand sticking out, but these are up at the correct angle above the dorsal fins there. These don't even barely make it even with that configuration. I think that is a little bit better, and I do wish that those would angle up, and maybe I mistransformed something, but I don't think I did. See how those angle up? That's how it's supposed to do. And for good measure, let's get on board with the New Age. And as it has a flight stand, this has 1 landing nub, but it also can be held by bigger butts. You could probably even get him to hold himself a little bit later. And this at least has a flight stand that can be articulated and posed. Notice once again that the engines are above and not on the same level as the wings. And I'm kind of curious to see the back of the box again. It does the same thing on the back of the box with this thing all the way forward, where they can't breathe because they're eating the wings there. But I love the tempo that's used there, and I like that the head nod with the faux symbol there. Toy Hawks will probably more than likely make a better rendition to get that hooked up and connected up. And I just keep having trouble with this stuff actually locking and staying in place. I don't like the way that goes pushing down, so I might just angle it up just to heck with it, so that you have some resemblance of what an A10 is supposed to look like. And then there's the other elephant in the room. No flight stand ports or anything, and no landing gear. This doesn't count as landing gear, as nubs and those little things right there. That is just a crock of horseshit, Hasbro. I just don't even understand. You at least give this faux wheels and faux wheel, and this actually has that other transformation. We'll get into some final thoughts here in just a moment. I'm highly disappointed in the jet mode here, guys. It is a major letdown after looking so forward to this minibot in the end. Let's get into some final thoughts. Final thoughts. This jet mode is definitely something liking to be desired, but the transformation is at least a little bit of fun. He's actually able to hold himself and shoot off the Combiner Wars version of himself, which that was a really neat play feature to go along with that Superion, or you can put it with your Superion that's just got updated. I think that's a really cool deal. That robot mode is the clear winner here and looks really awesome just like it is. He'll go along good with my mini bots, and like a lot of us that have gotten him, we'll probably just display him in robot mode as that A10 mode is something left to be desired. They did it in this form right here. They did it over there, no, 11 years ago, because that was a 2015 figure. And that one actually has nub landing gears built into the molding. These should have landing gear as planes and or flight stand capabilities, which this has got flight stand but no landing gear. That's got landing gear but no flight stand, and this has neither nor. And that's just not even cool with today's figures. I was looking so highly forward to it because I love that jet mode, and it just definitely left me wanting more here. It's uncalled for in this day and age, especially at the price he's going for. He's $30. He's always smaller, and yeah, we know how I feel about all that, guys. The more with less thing needs to stop happening, and you need to actually give a damn about what you're doing with your figures, Hasbro. I do like the heart inclusion, the mask, and that from that one episode, Hoist Goes to Hollywood. And yeah, all right, that's enough for me, guys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all stuff down below. Thanks again for watching. Comment and let me know if you got them and if I'm totally out of place for feeling that way about that jet mode. You guys have a safe week out there. Take care until all are one, all.